and welcome back to Priestess Life, or what it means to be a priestess in modern day time. My name is Brigantia, and I am a full-time priestess. And this is something I would like to talk to you about this time, to share with you. And it is also one of the questions that came about over the last few episodes. People have been sending me questions, and so that's really great because I can go into the questions, I can answer them and give my view on the questions, on the topics that people bring forward. So this time I would like to talk about one of those questions, which is money, or how do you make a living as a full-time priestess? In one of the earlier episodes I talked about how great it would be that if you go to a school and you are choosing your profession, that somebody would say, you can become a full-time priestess. Not even, I don't think even in my school, even anybody suggested I could become a priest, or the boys could become a priest. The whole spiritual thing is not seen as something that you can become. And I think on a certain note that is actually true, because I do think that it's a real calling that I talked about before. It is a vocation to become a priestess or a priest, in whatever tradition. But I also think that there's also it is a real job. It is work. So do not have that in any idea of young people. I think you're really missing a place there, really missing an opportunity. So how do you do it? How do you live as a full-time priestess? And the question especially was, how do you find the balance between earning money and really being in a spiritual practice? For me, the one doesn't bite the other. I think that for me it's really, I see it as a necessary thing. You could say it's an exchange of energy, and I do believe that. But also I think a lot of people think it's quite a woolly thing, like a new agey thing to say. But in a way, if you think everything is energy, then yes, it's an exchange of energy. But I also feel that people are coming to you, and the people coming to me, they are asking your time. So to give of your time, that is the value that you give. And of course you can give plenty of time voluntarily. And we do. I mean, here as priestesses here in the community, there's so many things that we do that are not paid for. But it's also, that is also service. But there's also a reality that you have to eat, we have to pay rent, and we have a life. So really, we are human beings that are living, make a living. So how then to find the balance between your spirituality and earning money? This is an interesting thing, and I through the years I have my own battle with finding my own worth. It is very much about finding your own worth, and so how do you put that into a monetary value? It's an interesting process. And I do think when I first started as a priestess, I asked far more little money than I do now. For tours, for walks, for workshops, I didn't really value myself. And I think that is something that was part of my spiritual journeys, part of my spiritual process, was to learn to value myself and to see how the things that I have invested in to become a priestess. So I have done trainings, I have bought books, I have spent a lot of time into becoming who I am, and I'm still learning, I'm still investing, and it is really investing in yourself, but also in service to others. So when I do things, when I do a training, or as also how can I relate that further? How can the things that I learn and the way I have developed bring that further to other people? So it is an investment in yourself, but also in service to others. So it is an interesting question to say, how do you make a living? Because what we have found, and what is kind of a rule here, is that you have three things that make you make a living. One thing is only if you're very lucky and you're very specialized, then one thing can be enough. Especially if you are really working alone, if you are not relying on the income from a partner, or you have inherited money, or anyway, if you're really from point zero earning your own money, then one thing, and especially in the time that you build up, is generally not enough. So we kind of have here in Glassme, I kind of have a rule that, well, it's not a rule, it's more like a thing to think about, that we have three things that we do. And for me, they also have to work with each other. So for me, the three things that I do, they actually support me financially, but also spiritually, and also they support each other. So my walks on the land, they give me inspiration for my work for Bridget. The work for Bridget gives me information and inspiration for my work and for the Goddess Conference. So they really fit well together. And to find that nice flow that supports yourself, that supports your work, and supports the service to others, that is just finding out. And it's a scary place sometimes, especially when you first start and you step away from, income, and every month you have a certain kind of income, and this is to step away from that was, for me, it was quite scary too, because I've never worked as a self-employed person, and I never thought I would work as a self-employed person, let alone as a self-employed priestess. So it's really about trusting as well. Trusting that with your intention and all that you give to the goddess, to your work, that there will be a giving and receiving. And to find that trust is very much part of this journey. To find that trust that goddess is looking after me. And I've had quite a few instances that I very physically had proof, if I needed proof for this, that she was actually putting the right people on my path, opening up doors that I never even saw before, all these kind of things. It's for me really to say yes to what she is offering me, and to embrace all that work that is waiting. And actually I find that she has, especially Bridget, has definitely pushed me into certain directions that I even never thought I would do. So yeah, so I hope that is a bit, yeah, that is an answer to the question, like, how do you balance that spiritual and the money? And I know there are people who say, oh, spiritual work really should be free. It's energy, you work with energy. Energy is free, it's for everybody. And I say, yes, definitely. I think anybody can work with energy for free. But if you want guidance, if you want to be guided and learn from my experiences, from my expertise, then you pay for my time. And that's all that you do. You pay for my time, not for the energy. The energy is free to everybody. And so if you don't need me, you don't need me. But if you want to work with me, you're very welcome. And then there's an exchange for the knowledge and the time that I offer. So yeah, so for me to find the right balance, to also not ask too much from people. I think that is also a big thing for me. To I don't need big house, a big car, all the things. I want to be able to sustain and support myself and sustain and support my work and expand in bringing goddess out into the world. And that is the kind of money I ask. Not to become rich, not to become famous, but just to really bring her out, to be able to live and to bring her out in the world. Right, so question answered, I hope. If not, please ask me more. And you can ask me any questions about what you would like to know, what it means to be a modern time priestess. So I hope I see you next week. Until then, I wish you bright blessings.